He's gonna paint, paint, paint till he drives us insane. Something's bugging you, something ain't right. Your best friend told you what he painted last night. Slept you sleeping.
Okay. Nasty. All right. So, can any other platforms hear me? Oh, all right. Well, everybody, welcome into the Paint with Josh show. We're going to be doing our second canvas of the evening tonight. And I'm going to try to make almost a matching canvas for the golden moonlit shores that we did a couple days ago. So we're going to do the opposite side of the lighthouse bay. And I was deciding whether or not to add a moon to it. I don't think that it's going to go as a set, and so I think we are going to add a moon to it. Just inner thoughts within my head. But first things first, we have to put our liquid clear across our entire canvas. Right? If we don't put our liquid clear or linseed oil across the canvas, then it will not be slippery enough for all of our thicker paints to work. Right? We have to have a wet surface, kind of like greasing up a pan when we're going to do our cooking and stuff. Right? So you guys let us know what's going on out there. If you can hear me correctly or not, let us know. Let's see out here. We're going to take our paper towels and wipe off all this excess clear paint. You have to remove the excess clear. Otherwise, it has the capability of dripping overnight. You don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen. Let's see, we're going to be doing a seascape. Again, you guys know me, I love painting the ocean. And it's only because I've painted 1,000 mountains already. You know what I mean? Like, the ocean is always a cool thing to be able to paint and be able to do it differently. Now, if we're going to try to match up our other scene, right, we're going to want a little bit of our Indian yellow kind of down there on our sky, floating up, getting more and more, or less and less and less vibrant in the color. When you very first put it on, it's very thick in that spot. It's our first contact point. It's always going to be the thickest area where it's the most vibrant, and then the more that we intermix it and stuff, the more crazy it will be. So let's put our big old yellow patch up here. All right. Now remember, you want to have your yellow patch bigger than you're actually going to use it, and that way we can shrink it back down when we use our other colors, like our crimson and everything else. And then we'll start over here and let's get down. Who knows? We'll put like a little yellow stripe underneath here. And then again, we're going to blend and mix all of this color. It's not just going to be yellow. We're going to have orange and all sorts of different reds and things that are in there as well. So we're going to come back with our crimson. This is the Madder Carmine color from Meaden. It's a gorgeous color, and it acts more like acrylic paint. It's very much, it's a wetter version anyway of our thicker oil paints. And therefore, you don't need as much on the brush in order to get it to move around and slide and blend. And so, if I want it to not overtake the yellow, I start much higher, knowing that by the time I get down to that yellow zone, most of my paint would have come off the brush, and I'm already mixing into these gorgeous, just oranges and such out here. It's going to be fabulous. Right now, you have to have some form of color on our canvas if you want the technique to work. You can't just get out there and have it be blank, right? You have to have some bit of either crimson or yellow or purple, any of the colors that we're going to use today as the ambulance drives by. Any of the colors we're going to use today, you have to have them, because without them, and you go and interact with a bit of paint or a bit of canvas that doesn't have any paint on it, you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be supremely bright. Right now, what we're doing is taking our dioxazine purple, coming in from the corner, popping it in over here. Doesn't have to be everywhere that all of our other colors were, but we do have to have some form of color on our canvas somewhere, right? Wherever it is, we have to have a portion of the canvas be covered, because if we interact with that white paint and there's no other color down there, we are going to be in trouble, you guys. So let's take our purple, load it up, crisscross it, push it, blend it as much as you feel like you need to. right? We don't want to cover everywhere, but I also don't want to just see a ring of yellow and then a ring of crimson, then a ring of purple. That's laziness. Don't do that. Blend it out. We want it to look different. Now, we're going to go into the very bottom, you know what, with our, let's get a little bit more yellow onto our brush. We're going to go into the Indian yellow, pop it down here so it almost covers our entire bottom of our canvas. And then with that purple, I'm telling you, straight on to here, the purple and the yellow make the most gorgeous brown you've ever seen. And so we're going to pop it on there, and we'll go back and paint something we can actually see. Are you guys ready to see what it looks like? Me too, because I have no idea what it looks like right now. So let us know in the comments where you're watching from out there in the night. Yes, wherever you are in the country, around the world, let us know where you're watching from, because it not only helps with engagement and gets lots of people in there commenting, because it's a very easy question to answer, but it lets us know that we've got fans literally watching from all over the world. Now, I'm going to dab off my brush on a paper towel, real good like. Go into a little bit of our liquid white, right? Go into our bright area, and oh, is it going to be super white, right? And so you have to mix and push it and allow it to blend. And you can even take it like this and kind of swirl it up in little circles around the edge just to give it a different effect, right? Doesn't always just have to be perfectly blended. You can get a little bit of wispiness out there just by kind of mixing up our chocolate milk, right? Where do you want that brightness to be in your sky? Oh, that's a fiery sky already. Now that the majority of that white is off the brush, I can mix it in, right? And instead of using all of this to mix, once we've kind of taken it all off of the brush, then we can mix around, not letting the entire sky be too bright, right? The point of being on a black canvas is not to cover the entire sky and to not let everything get too stinking bright out there. My goodness, if it gets too bright, we're going to be in trouble, right? Again, we don't want that to happen. Put a little bit of that light right down on my horizon, right down here. Yes, guys, it's fabulous. Again, we're going to pop a big old cloud in between there, so don't worry about it. Just follow along, and by the time you get done, you're going to have the most amazing painting you've ever seen. So let's get a little bit of our titanium white. We're going to throw in our cloud and get ready to go to our first commercial break. So let's take our titanium white. No, okay, good. We'll just roll through then. We're going to take our titanium white like this. Going to mix it around, push it up and through, and just let it get wild and crazy. Literally mushing, twisting, trying to get the paint to come off of the brush and stick onto the canvas. Now, what happens when we do that? We get a very random pattern where it's brighter in some areas, it's darker in some areas because there's less paint back here. It's mixing in with our sky, all those undercolors. Yeah! So let's wipe off our brush. Again, come back over here. Start the mixy poos, right? We're spinning up our chocolate milk, just mixing it with just a corner of the brush. Right? If I was using the whole brush, I would be up here and making a shape or a space bigger than what's actually there. We're only using the corner of the brush. So it's almost kind of angled away from the canvas as we get up here and mix it down and down and down. And the more that we mix it out, right, the more it starts to blend in with the sky. It becomes the sky color, right? So you can get down there and decide how far down you want to take it until there is no more. Right? You can also get up here, grab a little bit more of our white paint, right? And then we can decide maybe out this way, there's a whole other bit of cloud, right? But you have to have it in that darker area underneath so that the two bright colors are not too similar anyway. Mix it down across your horizon. Now remember, not every place has to have a whole bunch of rocks or a big rocky projection or whatever. I mean, we're going to paint one, but you don't have to if you don't want. Holy cow, look at this for a painting, you guys. Now remember, I lowered the price down on this one, hoping that you would get the other one as well. And they should be about the same. I think they're both $209. This brand new one and the one from like 3 days ago, which will be exactly matching paintings, just looking off to the other side. It's going to be fabulous. Okay, let's grab our titanium white. Grab a little bit on our filbert brush. You guys know the old filbert. We've got to make a perfect little moon or sun or whatever you want to call it, right? It's up to you what you think it is, but we're going to push it in flat. Push it against the canvas like that. Try to stay out of your guys' way as we rotate to the left, keeping it in the center, pushing it in so the bristles stay flat, very lightly pulling away. Now you got your really cool looking little moon. If you make a dark spot from pushing in too much, that's okay. It'll look like a bunch of craters or something out there. Or you can, like me, go across it and sort of fill that area in. Now, if all of our waves are going to the other side, this is much more of a left-hander's seascape out here, right? We don't need to start with a lot. We're going to put a little bit way out here, just a little bit. Boom, boom, boom. We don't want it to get too big. We don't want it to get too crazy. And I want it to come from a higher point on the right side to a lower point on the left side. It's pretty much all you have to do, right? If I wanted to lower down, I don't want to ever have the color be all the way down because then your waves don't stand out, right? There. That's fabulous. Now we can take this little bit of paint, okay? Scrape it on there, creating little details, getting smaller and smaller and smaller as we go to the right. Anything else that's back there will blend away and become farther in the distance, right? Now, we need to mix up a little bit of our plaque mixture in order to make this little mountains rocky section contrast against all of our beautiful bright sky color. We need a dark mix, right? We don't want to just use black. That's lazy. Can't just use purple. It's not dark enough. Van Dyke brown's not dark enough, right? So we mix up something called Paint with Josh Plaque, which is the deepest, darkest color known to mankind's existence. Right? Now, what we're going to do is wiggle down our little fan brush, get nice and dark on there, and then we're going to use the corner of this guy to sort of trace on what we want our rocky little outcropping to look like. Maybe it comes up here, maybe it's over there. Remember, we don't need everything. All we're doing is filling in and pulling away from the edge. Seascape's going the opposite direction that we normally go. Right? So we're pulling all that darkness from left to right now. Okay, now we'll come back in with our big old 2-inch brush, grip it a little bit more and make it a lot softer, retaining all that dark color. Right? The darkness is to seal everything else into the background. Okay, keeping everything else up here closer, everything else in the background further away, exactly like mountains do, right? Now, we're going to get a little bit of that Paint with Josh Plaque mix onto our Paint with Josh fan brush. And in fact, I might need to get a bit more because we're going to start making forest climbing up this way, right? We can even start up here. We can tap down, get next to him on the other side, a little bit lower, lower, lower. Same thing over here, making a pyramid of trees, right? They're not all the same height. There's different little peaks to them. And you basically just painted about 50 trees all in one go, right? It's a really cool thing. Now, your brush will only stay sharp for 5 or 6 taps, maybe 7. If there's anybody with teenagers watching, you get the reference. Out there, boom, a little bit more. We'll wiggle down onto the paint. Okay, and since you should be able to see it easier if I go from right to left, what if we start over here and we tap down again, one single line. Okay, that's almost made my brush a little bit fatter already. Then next to him, almost connecting except for the top, right? So they're about even. Maybe we don't want to make them perfectly even, so we make one a little bit taller than the other, okay? Same thing, our center should be tallest. And then we get lower and lower and lower. Maybe pop up and then we go down again. Then we pop up and then we go down. And we're connected on to our little guy down here. Right now, up to you, how many little details you want to see. How many little branches your trees, or how many trees of yours have little branches on them, right? It's all up to us. Whatever we feel like every time we go to do a painting is what we can do, right? We can decide maybe there's a tree there, maybe there's a break, and they had a little open area of trees, so there's not so many over here. Maybe with this guy, we give him a couple more little branches. Have them pop out, extending outwards, right? It's all up to us. It's all background stuff. That's the thing you guys forget. All this stuff is background. We don't need it. It's just there to contrast against all of the brightness in our sky, right? So don't pay too much attention to it. Don't have too many little details out there. Carry on about too many little things, because none of it really is going to be looked at by your viewer, right? The person that's out there looking at your paintings, either your audience that you have, that you've built like me, right? Or maybe it's your grandma that you're showing it to. they're not going to inspect every tree that's in the background. Not as much as we want them to anyway. We want them to look and just like spend, 10 minutes looking at every single detail that we painted. They're just not going to. I'm just telling you. Okay? It's just, no matter what, they're just not going to look at it. They're going to go, oh, that's cool. And they're going to look at something else or open up their phone or whatever. It just happens. That's how people are, right? So don't pay too much attention to those guys. Right? We're going to come back here lightly from the bottom and then pulling away before we get to the top. And that way we don't drag through up into our clouds. And you're basically only ever showing about 1 inch to 2 inches of your trees because everything else gets turned into mist. You want to know how? We're going to tap in, letting the brush stop, right? I'm not dragging. I'm not swiping it down. I'm tapping in at this downward angle so the brush hits and stops. And then we go a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. All this does, again, is just softening that layer of trees. That layer of trees is very heavy back there. Very heavy paint, right? You can see it's almost even textured. But the more that we go across it, the more it's going to soften that paint so that we can put a new layer down or have a bunch of rock details and stuff. It's all up to us, right? We're in control, but if we don't soften that paint, it's going to be much more difficult to lay something on top of something that's already so heavy, okay? So now let's take our fan brush, wipe off that darkness, just scrub it off because this really doesn't need to stay too bright. We'll get a little bit of bright over here. Come in here, and then we're going to start making a whole new little cloud. This misty action, bang, right? Whole new little cloud. Doesn't have to be as bright as our first guys because we use much less paint. It's already mixing in with that darker paint for a reason. I don't need it to stay bright. I just need it to be a little bit of a disconnect. Right? Yes. And then I can decide how much of that mistiness I want to show because like I said, I want to have some rocks and different things in here. So we don't have to have all the mist. We don't have to do anything, you guys. There's no have-tos anywhere. Let's go back and scrape up a little bit more of our titanium white. Come back in here. Boom, boom, boom. Start dropping down, down. You got to make sure that you get down lower. Now, since we're doing a lefties wave, right, we're going to start over here. We're going to start scraping back and forth, and all the while pushing into the canvas, right? Dropping off that paint around the back side, or dropping it out of the back of the blade right here as we're pulling down at this angle. Oh, that's going to be so cool, you guys. This one, too, we can even make that a little closer. We can do whatever we want to do, my friends. Just like that. And then we'll have this one sliding back, of course. Not every place has to be as bright, but we're going to take it back, filling in these little areas. Nothing, again, you need to make too bright. You don't want to allow the front wave and the back wave to touch. And all we're doing is horizontal streaks, right? We're going to go back and make them softer. So don't worry about that. Just have enough paint up here, right, that when we pull it back horizontally, it leaves room that way, okay? I never like to make it all exactly the same or overfilled or anything because I know, especially in the distance, I'm going to pull back on those guys to make them harder to see. That's going to fill in my little area over here, right? Makes it all full, flattens it out, a little softer, right? And then I can decide how much of that paint color do I want to drag back over here, or if I want to come in here and make a new little bit of brightness or a bit of detail or something, right? Scrape it into that slightly darker area just so that it wasn't too overly dark, right? Doesn't have to be too bright, but we don't want it to be too overly dark either. This thing, we can let it scrape all the way over here if we wanted to. Just mainly focusing on keeping it sort of flattish. Anything that we put over to the side, again, doesn't matter because we could get rid of that guy. We could totally lose that entire thing, okay? Same way as we do when we do our sand. We could get over here, pull on it, pull it back towards the wave, and now all of a sudden we've got that shiny area underneath. Oh man, this one's going to look so cool. Okay. So remember, you guys, if you were watching the last show, you'd know. If you've seen any other show in the past, you would know. These paintings are always available, and you can get them if you go to my place, right? The mods are telling you how to get there. It's posted in the comments section of every place that you're watching. And this painting is right at the front. Like, you don't even have to go far to look for it. It's right there. Oh, that's so nice. I'm going to change my angle here a little bit. There, just be a little flatter there. Right? That one little thing, I'm telling you, is going to make a big difference when you're going to do yours. Right? Now, we're going to take that liquidy white, titanium white mix. let's get underneath our moon. Don't let those two colors touch and just start pulling down. We don't need a whole lot of paint, right? If we do too much of this liquid white, titanium white stuff, it's going to make our sandy area like too bright. And so you get to decide less and less and less and less and less as we go that way, right? A little bit more as we come this way, but not as much as our very first streak for our moonlight. I don't want it to grow too terribly big, right? And again, this can be a giant mess right here. As long as you don't touch the two colors together, we should be okay. Right now, you guys check in one more time. Let us know where you're watching from in the night. We're going to come up here, grab onto this paint, and just pull it down. Very light, right? If I streak it down too much, it's going to first extend down real far. Then it's going to want to make every part of my sand brighter than I want it to be. So let's not pull it down too far. There, right? However you like it. You can go over it a million times. You can even push it further over this way if you wanted to, right? But what we're going to do is take all of these little vertical streaky poos and turn them into horizontal streaky poos by pulling them away from the water, right? Then you have that area of very bright, wettish, sandy look. And the more, this is why if you use too much paint, the more that gets down there, the more you can't tell what's what, right? That is cool looking. Now, let's also take just a little touch of our yellow ochre color, which we rarely ever use on black canvas, especially. We're going to get underneath that guy there. Just adds a little bit of richness to it. Just a little bit of richness to the whole thing. Now, let's say I put on too much paint, which will happen, right? And this whole area has become too bright. I can always go back with my Van Dyke brown, drag it in from the edges and shrink back that bright, sandy, shiny area to however far back I want it to be. It's all up to me, right? I can do whatever I want every time. That's why it becomes so much fun, because you're in control of what you're doing out there, right? You can decide. Do you want to mist it up a little bit by making it just a little harder to see back there? Where does that water come in? How far of it gets taken back? Right? How bright is it? How this? How that? That's all up to you guys. Literally, if I didn't like this spot, let's say I want to change the angle because we got too steep. Right? We'll push it down, spread it out. It's looking pretty cool. Looking pretty cool. Then it's up to me what we do. How far? How this? How that? Bink! Right there. Just a little touch. Oh, it's fabulous. Remember, you have to shrink down your dark separation, which is a little bit more difficult this way for a right-hander. Right? This is much more of a lefty's wave back here. Oh, that's so nice, though. So nice. All you need, very small, even almost non-existent, very far away. And then as you get closer to us, it gets a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. But never too much, right? That is excellent, you guys. Now, what happens if I wanted a little bit more brightness right there? Right? I just pull down a little bit of that paint. Get back in with our big old 2-inch brush, try to make it a little clean. There, right? We can decide how bright we leave it just by how much you're pulling on the paint. The more you massage it in, the more it goes away. So you're in control every time. What's happening out there? That's fabulous. What if I want a little bit more shininess underneath my wave on this side, Josh? Well, it's not going to be there unless you go and put it there, right? So you decide how you want it to look. How many little places, how bright, how dark, how mixed up. It's all up to you, right? Fabulous. Now, we'll get out with that last little touch, which is our final, it's like the shine keeper. It's the thing that traps in all the shininess of our watery sand, right? Is that one little line. Now, it can go all the way up if you wanted it to. I just wouldn't make it so bright. I had to push on too much. Now that means I'm going to have to blend that area more. Because it's further away, it should be softer, right? So again, I'm going to pull over to 9 o'clock now. We normally go to 3 o'clock. This time we're going to pull to 9 o'clock. Pull this way and that way, this way and that way. Just pulling it back to the wave. That's going to help make it look like it's come up, dropped off a whole bunch of stuff, and then fed its way backwards. Right? We can decide how bright, how dark, how this, how that. Again, all up to us. And how much we scrape, how much color we add to it, how dark you make that color. All up to you, right? every time that we go to do these, guys, we can do them differently. That's the fun part about doing them. Wow, that looks cool. Now let's put on one little spot of our brightness underneath our moon or sun or whatever you think it might be. Right? We want to make it kind of small in the background. You want it to be broken. You can't have it be connected. So make a weird Z shape. Just like that. Tell me that's not perfect. Literally. You don't have to do anything, guys. We can change that whole angle too, if you want it, right? It's up to us. If you didn't want it, you go back in and you delete it. Like Control, Alt, Delete. Take that guy back out, and it's back to wherever you had it, right? Totally up to you. So this one, we're going to add a couple little bits of our brown rock off in the distance, right? Just a few little things. So we don't want to have too much of our white. We don't want to have too much of our brown either. Just get a good, nice little dark brown color back here. And then we can decide just by scraping in a couple little just lighter bits in between those darker areas, right? There, just a smallest indication. If we make them too noticeable or too thick in the color or too many details, again, your brain will not know what to do with all the texture out there and all the texture down here by our feet. It just won't know what's going on. It's gonna be like, what? Wait, what? Where am I supposed to look? How far is that? What is that? What is this? What? You know what I mean? So you make it harder to see back here, much more faint, much more scrubbed out little details. And if they become too bright, you really got to scrub them in, right? Taking all that paint and mixing it in with that darkness. That's all you're trying to do. Guys, this one came out really cool looking. Dudes. Right? Fabulous. Oh, so cool. So you guys got to start coming up with a title for this one. What do you think it should be called? Tell us now in the comments, right? What do you think this one should be named, right? And you'd let us know. And if you have the best title, it may just be chosen at random by London or Paint with Josh. Might choose it at random, right? Come down there, push it hard. There. That brightness on the front, right? You can always pull that brightness away with whatever brush you had. Seriously. Look, make it look however you want it to look. If you want it to be soft, you go over it a few more times. It'll take away those details. If you want to have some texture in your water, then you got to come back in and make sure you're not taking away all of those details, right? It's up to you. Literally. Doesn't matter what mine looks like. Doesn't matter what your friends looks like, what your grandma's looks like. Literally doesn't matter. It's what do you feel like your painting should look like today? Do you want to have it be more noticeable and more details and more bits of stuff? Or do you want it to be softer and much more, you know, like silk? All up to you, because you can paint them both ways, literally, right? Whatever you feel like doing is what you get to do as a human. Isn't that fabulous? Like, oh, I think I want to paint it like much brighter, much heavier in the paint this time. Okay, go do it. Let's see what it looks like by the time you get done. I think I want to do it like this time. I don't want to do it this today or this, whenever. Right? It's so up to you. Please do whatever you want and have it come out differently, right? That's the whole fun about doing these things. Very light, very light. Oh, yes. Okay, let's spray in a couple little bits of our sandy technique, and then we're going to be all set, you guys. So come up with a title for this one. Right? Remember, you can grab this one or the sister painting, which is 2223, I think. I believe. This one is still available. And if we did it correctly, they should line up exactly right. Look at that for a scene. You probably only see it on the widescreen, but look at that, dude. I didn't think it was going to come out that perfectly matte. Look at the clouds even. Holy shaving cream. You guys. Oh my goodness. Literally, just from looking at it. Oh, that's a pirate cove if I have ever seen one, you guys. Look at the clouds. Look at the clouds. Look at the sunlight. Or moonlight, whatever. My word. Where are we looking? Oh, look at that. Fabulous. So remember, come up with a title for these guys. This one being 2223, right? It's already called Lighthouse Cove. This is one I did off screen. And we just did its matching painting partner, its little painting pal right here. With just the most perfect match you've ever seen lined up. So, yeah, let's come up with a title for this one. And like I said, if you want to get both, let me know. You can head over there. You can check it out. You can let us all know by going over and grabbing both of those paintings. They can be yours. This one is still available, and the other one is as well. So, one more little line on the back, I think. I think we got ourselves a cool painting, you guys. These little details are so personable, too. However many little things you want, as thick as you want them, as thin as you want them, as bright, as dark as here, and as there. Fabulous. As many little things as I want to do. Oh, it's always so cool and so personable, whatever you feel like. So, Raging Serenity, Dreamscape, that's pretty cool. I like that. Supermoon, that's a cool title too. Cool title, Planets Far Between. Misty Cove, Moonlight Cove. The 13th Night, I like that, even though it's only the 8th. But the 13th Night, that's cool too. Midnight Moonlight, that's a cool one too. Yellow Moon Cove, I dig it. Very, very to the point with that one. Tangerine Sky, Cape Fear, I like. What about Cape Disappointment? Another cape. Who decided? Like, did they go there and they were like, man, this place sucks. We're just going to call it Cape Disappointment. Like, I was so excited to get here, and then it was a big letdown. Like, why would they name it that? I don't understand. Squatch's Fishing Hole. I like that one. This would be a Squatch's Fishing Hole down here. He's going to have to wade in, though, and get... We got very shallow seas over here in the Pacific Northwest, at least where I'm at. Haunted Beach. Seascape at Sunset. Wow, that's a lot of whistles for that one. That's hard to say. Okay. If there's one thing that you know about Josh, is it even after he puts away all of his stuff, he'll come back and add another final detail because he looks back at the camera and just sees something that's irritating him. There. Much better. Okay. Yes, Hollow Moon. That's a cool title, too. The cat stepped on my phone and scrolled me in. Awesome. Appreciate you. Appreciate the cat. They were trying to watch from the hallway, or however they say it. And the cat was like, nope, we're dropping you in. Throwing you under the bus. The birds are coming. They're coming. They always come last, you guys. I've got to clean everything up. And then we get in here with the old Paint with Josh signature. Signature. Dude, I had a lady earlier, like literally right before the show on Facebook that was like, what's with the 3 birds? They're in every painting. I was like, oh, they must be significant then, don't you think? If they're in every painting, don't you think they have some meaning? Excellent. Okay, last thing, guys, and then we're going to choose a title. Remember, you can pick a title if you grab this one. We're going to throw in our sand, too. I forgot to do that. But you got to grab this painting before we end the show if you want to pick the title. If you don't mind, then that's fine. Salem Sands, that's cool. What's the meaning of the 3 bird signature? This is myself. This is London, who's sitting behind the camera right now. And then that's our daughter. Sorry, go ahead. Hello. And then that's our daughter. And even though we're not together anymore, they're still my family. They go in as part of the signature. And, you know, it will always be. So I get the question all the time, though. What is the significance of the birds? Even in nighttime paintings, under the ocean paintings, space paintings, you still see the birds in every single one. So, Embers Over the Sea. I like that. That's a cool one, even though I can't pronounce your name. It's a bunch of symbols. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Pumpkin Cove, I like that. Love my birds. The birds add depth, for sure they do. They sure do. Is that supposed to be salmon? Salmon shores? Like salmon? Salmon? Is it that kind of salmony pinky color to you? Beautiful, thank you, Darla. Appreciate it. Mysterious Skies. I like that. I like that. Albatross Cove. I like that one too. That includes the bird family. The other one that it goes along with this painting is just called Lighthouse Cove. because this side has the lighthouse on it, which is in fact opposite to my favorite place, when in fact the lighthouse is on this side and this mountain is over here. But in order to change it, look at that. All right, I'm going to have to list these as a pair. If someone doesn't get these, the price is going up on them because you're going to have to buy them as two. Otherwise, they will not be, it'll be like, I'll have to put a little tag on it. This is like, do not separate. This thing is sold as a set. You've seen those at the store. Okay, let's name it Twilight Sands. Who knows? Crow's Cove. Golden Shores. I like that. Flight to Lighthouse Cove. I like that one too. Moonlit Through the Trees. Halloween Moon by the Sea. Tequila Sunset. Okay. Let's go crazy, you guys. Let's go nuts, man. Let's see. Needs a centerpiece for the pair. We might have to paint that one too, and it'll be a triptych. It'll be a triptych. I like Mysterious Sky. That was cool. We could do fire in the sky. We could do loads of stuff. And I usually count on one of you guys to grab the painting. That way it's up to you to title it instead of being up to me. But if it's coming down to me to title the painting, then let's just see. Let's see. So velocity factor, this one's 209, and I believe the other one is 209 as well. We normally do this size at 239 for the show price, but since, yeah, the other one's 209 as well. So I'm trying to get them both to go, and oh my, Yellow Moon Cove, I like that one too. Fearless Flight, that's a cool title. Let's name it that. I took out the screw. Let's name it Fearless Flight. I like that, guys. That is one we've not named one like that before. So, thank you to whoever it was over on YouTube who said that. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? I just saw it. Oh, here we go. Lucy Anderson. I appreciate it. Mr. Well, it'd be Mrs. Anderson. Anybody ever watch... God, I can't spell. Please don't watch me write. But has anyone ever seen The Matrix? Is this 2227? 2227 out there. Calling it... What was it again? Fearless Flight. I like that. That is cool. Okay, so you guys have all been fantastic. I can't wait to see both of your versions of this painting and the other one, because both of them are available as tutorials, step by step, literally every step, tutorials that you can find on my YouTube, and they're amazing. I can't wait for you guys to finish them and send them in to me on my Facebook, because this is where we usually get people sending in their photos that they've done or paintings that they've recreated, and that is at official Paint with Josh. So if you're not following me over there, you should be. If you're not following me on, YouTube, you should be. That's at Paint with Josh. On Instagram, it's at Paint with Josh K, and then TikTok at Paint with Josh K as well. This one came out amazing. Unfortunately, no light party because it didn't find a new home. Oh, both of them together? Together. Neither of them have found a new home, right? They are fantastically amazing. The clouds line up, the light, I mean, you know, one, you're looking at the moon over here, and then it's obviously later on in the evening on the other side, but the water lines match up perfectly, the sand, everything. We're gonna put some sand on this little guy too. He's got to have some speckles in there. That's one thing I forgot. The couple speckles. So we've got the name done. I can't wait to see your guys' versions. We're going to sprinkle on just a couple little specks of our sandy beach out there, getting it into the backwash and everywhere else. Oh, it's fabulous. Fabulous. You guys, look at that. Woo! Oh, man. Those little speckles, I'm telling you, they just bring it to a whole new level. A whole new spanking level. So you guys head over, grab these paintings, right? If you can get them as a set, that would be fantastic. If not, they are available singularly as well. We can't wait to see your versions of them, so don't forget. Please send them in after you get done doing the tutorials. We love you. We can't wait to come back. We'll do it again tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. And until we see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And Well, that one came out amazing. I want to thank you guys for being here, liking, subscribing, tapping the screen, commenting, and interacting with me. It's all been fantastic. In the meantime, before we get to our next painting, be sure you check out paintwithjosh.com because there's always something else to look at over there. So until I see you.